Hi, we are going to do a workout or routine today that has been requested numerous times. We are going to work on the feet. So I want you to just start seated. As we start here, I'll talk you through it. So let's bring your left foot up. And the first thing we're actually going to do is work on our own feet. This is one of the best things that you can actually do for your feet to get them moving. So what I want you to do is just start to kind of play with your toes. So I grab my big toe and I'm going to move it forward and back. And we're going to get blood flowing a little bit to our feet. And we're going to get the joints moving. So there are a lot of things going on in the feet. There are so many muscles, so many bones. You have this amazing arch, and your feet are obviously what hit the ground all day. And we tend to be in shoes all day. So lots of forces and things going on in the feet. And now I'm moving on to my second toe. Okay, so same thing, I'm just going forward and backward. And so you can easily get really tight in your feet and in your ankles. And there's a lot of reasons that can happen, but this short little stretch and movement routine is gonna help just open up your feet a little bit and hopefully give you a little bit more motion and flexibility in your feet. Okay, so now I'm moving to the next one. And again, I'm just going forward and backward with my toes, kind of sometimes side to side toes. So right now I'm doing my third and fourth, so I'm focusing on the third toe. Now I'm moving on to the fourth toe. And really, I recommend sitting and doing this if you're just in front of the TV. If you're sitting on the floor with your kids with the shoes off, like I do this at night actually, because my feet tend to get really tired after being on them all day. So I'll do them at night during story time when we're starting to put the kids to bed. So if I'm sitting there and my husband's reading the story, so I will sit in bare feet and just massage my feet. And yes, they always ask me, what in the world are you doing, mommy? But I'm telling you, it helps so much. Okay, so I just went through all my toes, forward and backward, stretching them, right, and all the little joints. Now I'm gonna work my way up to the top of my foot. And I know it's hard to see in the video here, but what I do is I have my thumbs on the top of my foot and all my fingers on the bottom of my foot. And I'm just rubbing my thumbs kind of towards my toes. And as I do that, I'm digging my fingers into my arch. So it's getting a little massage on the top of my foot, but it's also getting that arch moving a little bit, okay? So basically, you can't do this wrong. If it hurts, obviously you might be going a little too hard or a little too far, especially if you have injuries, if you have bunions, if you have a Morton's neuroma, all of those things you want to watch out for. Obviously don't go into pain, but for the most part, you really are just kind of moving things around, so you can't necessarily do it wrong. Any kind of blood flow that you get to your foot is a good thing. So again, I'm kind of working my way up, and you have now all of these tarsal and metatarsal bones up in your foot, and I'm kind of moving those too. Just going up and down my arch and the top of my foot, forward and backward, side to side. Okay, then let's straighten it out and just flex and point. And then you can lean back, get comfy, because we're gonna work on those toes. So what I want you to do is pull your toes back towards you. You maybe have never even noticed to do this before. So all 5 toes, and just see what happens. Can you fan all 5 of them out? Maybe they're stuck together, see how that feels. And then curl, point your whole foot if you want, but curl your toes. Okay, so now what I want you to do is see if you can just focus on the toes. Pull them back towards you. Big toe, second toe, third, fourth, fifth. And then now curl, big toe, second toe, third, fourth, fifth. So I am unable at this point in my life to flex and bend and extend my toes one at a time like that. But there are some people who can, and I think it's a very good goal to try to work on. So the thing is, I don't get frustrated that I can't do it one at a time. I just focus on trying to, because what it's doing is strengthening all those little intrinsic muscles in my feet, okay, and getting some mobility in my toes. So I pull them back and I try to pull, and then I curl, right? All right, good. And you can spend as much time as you want doing that, but we have another foot we have to get to. So I'm gonna bring my right foot up. And again, there's no right or wrong. If you want your left foot straight when you do it, that's fine. If you need to sit in a chair and pull your foot up towards you, however you need to do it, that you can reach your foot. So I'll turn in case it helps you to see. So I'm gonna start with my toes. I'm pulling that toe back, and then I'm flexing and rounding it. And then what feels good to me is if I start to get the toe next to it involved, like this little counter stretch like this. That's just what feels good to my foot when I do it, because I feel like they get so tight during the day. And then this isn't the place I'm going to talk to you about perfect shoes, but always make sure that you have good supportive shoes. Barefoot, you know, and I'm working my way down my toes as I'm talking to you about this. So barefoot is great to a point because it makes your foot work a little bit, which is a good thing. But also if you have certain kinds of flooring in your house, like concrete and tile, they can be very hard on the foot. So you would want to walk around your house with some cushion, with some kind of shoe. So I recommend kind of both. I'll wear my tennis shoes half the day. I like to go barefoot a lot. I like to wear sandals quite a bit, slippers, as we know in Hawaii. So I make my foot work in different ways, but I definitely notice if I'm wearing like only my sandals all day long, my foot will be more tired at the end of the day. Or if I'm barefoot cooking dinner and they get tired, I'll put on some shoes. Okay, so I've worked my way up and down my toes. So now I'm gonna get up into my foot. Again, I'm using my thumbs on the top of my foot, and I'm using all my fingers into my arch. I'm just digging in there. And it just feels so good. There's something about working all those muscles and ligaments and tendons and tissue, and then something for the reflexology as well. We're getting all those points moving. It's gonna help the rest of our system if we give our feet a little love. That's why you're here. Okay, so again, pause this, take as much time as you need, make it a habit, maybe at night to do this. Good job. All right, so straighten the legs out. Let's give it some shakes here and then some flexing and pointing of the foot. And then let's focus on those toes. So pull the toes back towards you. And I always think it's funny, my little pinky toe on this side, gosh, just does not want to fan out like it does on the other side. And then point and curl. Again, I don't judge, I'm not worried about it. I don't have foot pain. So there are things that you don't need to feel like, oh, that's a diagnosis. It's not, it just means my pinky toe on this side doesn't move as much as on the other side. So I just notice it, I work on it, I try to really fan it out, flex, but there it goes. Come on, pinky, you can do it. And that's a lot of work for me to do it. And then curl. Do it one more time. If you want to get the other foot involved, you can, but I definitely recommend doing it side to side first so you can see some differences and focus, and then you can kind of do them at the same time. All right, nice job. So now we can flex and point both. All right, now let's get into a stretch. So this is absolutely one of my favorite stretches for the foot and into the ankle, but it's also a deep stretch for the quads and the knees. So not everyone's body is really happy with this. So you're gonna need to modify it. And I'll show you where we're going and you can get into it however you want. So I have curled my toes underneath me here, right? And I'm gonna sit back on my heels. So if you already know that your knees don't bend all the way, or this could be hard for you, I want you to go grab a really big towel or maybe a blanket, and you're gonna put it right here, all right? So right on your calves, so that when you sit back, you're sitting more like this. Does that make sense? So your knees aren't bending all the way. If your knees are okay, you're coming back here. Now keep in mind, I have very flexible feet and ankles. This is not a problem for me. It feels good, it's a good stretch, but I don't have that tightness in my quads that I know a lot of people do. Most of my clients, this can be a tough position. So if you're sitting at home thinking, oh my gosh, lady, you're crazy, that's okay. But I want you to try to work into it, finding ways that you can get there. So my biggest concern, like I said, would be your knees. So I want you to sit on something in between calves and booty here. If you are just feeling like, wow, this is tight for my feet, then you might just need to hang out here. And I want you to hang out here for like a minute, okay? So this is one of the best stretches that you can do. I won't make you sit and watch me do this for a minute or two, but I just want you to have it in your toolbox because it's so good for our toes and for our feet. And then let's come forward. Release them. Reach one foot back and then the other, and then take yourself up into a down dog. And if this position isn't accessible for you, that's okay too. Okay. So now walk it out, and what you're focusing on is rolling through your feet and your toes. So you'll see what I do is I press one heel down, and on the other one I'm actually rolling all the way onto my toes, and then I roll back and I roll all the way up onto my toes on the other, and sometimes I will even take it onto the tops of my toes. So if you don't want to be in a down dog position doing this, just come down and kind of practice rolling on your foot here. Okay? So if this workout isn't what you expected, I understand. People want, okay, I want strengthening exercises. And I'm going to give you a few before we're done here, things that you can do on your own at home. But I've just found in my personal experience with my clients that getting all of these things moving and stretched is one of the best things you can do for your feet. Okay? Nice job. And then let's come down and rest. So some ideas for some strengthening is grab a Kleenex, put it on the ground, or a small like hand towel, and practice picking it up with your toes and putting it back down. Right? So that's a really good one. Marbles, if you happen to have marbles around, pick up marbles one at a time with your toes and place them back down. That's a great strengthening exercise, okay? So try those. I hope that helps with your foot health, and I will see you next time.